Welcome to our study, everyone, for AP Spanish language. I'm John from Marco Learning. In the chat, let me know where you're joining from and how many years you've been studying Spanish. Tonight's review, we're going to go for about 45 minutes here, and I'm going to show you tips for how to perform well on this test. So it is great to see you. Yo me llamo John de Marco Learning, y esta noche queremos preparar por este examen de AP Spanish Language porque mañana vamos a pues queremos mostrar la inteligencia, la sabiduría, este vocabulario, la gramática, the skills that we've developed over the course of this year in developing reading, writing, listening, and speaking. So we're working from a sample practice test you probably haven't seen. What I want to walk through mostly in English here is how I'm going to think about approaching a test like this. Why I'm going to take the skills I know, the language I know, I'm going to steer around the language I don't know and get the most points that I can. I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm not trying to get every single point that can be got. I'm going to get every single point that I can get and be totally at peace with what I don't know. And so what I'm going to do, I've got this set up over here. I encourage you throughout this session, if you like this, press the like button, press that little heart button, give me some feedback, and make sure that I'm aware of the questions that you've got. Okay, so with reading comprehension, remember, we're going to have be practicing reading comprehension throughout the exam. One tip I always like to take advantage of is any kind of description I'm getting at the top of the test, like this one. Este artículo y la entrevista lo que acompaña hablan de un nuevo fenómeno entre los adolescentes, el uso del cubrebocas para ocultar su rostro. Este artículo original se publicó en La Verdad el 10 de diciembre de 2022. So we've got this passage here. Por baja autoestima, adolescentes aún usaban cubrebocas. And I have this long passage, and then I'm going to have this listening feature, which will we would have to take notes on. So one thing I'm not going to do is focus on reading as such. You aren't going to receive any points for reading on the AP Spanish language exam. You're going to receive points for the questions you get correct. So insofar as I am able to, depending on the format of the section, I'm going to take a look at what's going on inside of these individual questions. ¿Qué oración resume mejor la idea principal del artículo? What sentence is the best summary of the main idea of this article? ¿De qué otro problema más general es síntoma el uso de cubrebocas cuando ya no es necesario u obligatorio? So what's the other problem? That problem is a symptom of the use of face coverings when it is not necessary or obligatory. So I'm able to ground myself and learn things about the passage from this as we go through. Now, one question I'm seeing here is how to skim read a text to not waste all your time reading, but only getting necessities. That's the critical question here. So if I'm looking for something like what sentence best captures the main idea of the article, I'm not going to be able to skim my way to that in a single sentence. But this one is a specific problem, right? Of a symptom of the use of cubrebocas when it's no longer necesario u obligatorio. So maybe I can find something in this first passage about necesario, obligatorio. And I noticed that that's like the fourth question. It could come from the listening source as well, but I'm going to look around real quick. Cubrebocas, necesario, and I don't see anything. It might be from the second passage. And what I'm looking for, especially everyone, is that first sentence, first part of the sentence, and the final one of each paragraph. So the most important paragraphs in any reading passage I'm going to see are the first and final paragraphs. And within paragraphs, the most important sentences are the first and final. So this really important task of like, here's a wall of text. You may not know what all the words are. How do you work around what you know? So this one involves listening. I want to go to just a plain reading passage that doesn't involve listening. So this is an easier way this is listening here. Oh, no, sorry. That first one, hold on. I'm just orienting myself. Actually, this is a good example. So, estas son instrucciones para utilizar los grupos de WhatsApp en el entorno del trabajo. So this diagram is a protocol for WhatsApp groups among employees, clients, and suppliers. And then it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is a great example of where they headline all of these things for us. One, definir la formalidad, oficialidad. Definir el alcance de WhatsApp. Establecer un objetivo temática del grupo, empoderar al administrador del grupo, establecer un acuerdo de privacidad, confidencialidad, definir el tipo de información, contenido que no se debe transmitir por WhatsApp. That's número 6. Número 7, mantener el orden y la organización. Y número 7, establecer un horario de uso. So these 1 through 8 is a guidelines. Do not read inside of these if you're doing any preview. So then we get to the questions like, ¿cuál es el propósito de estas instrucciones del uso de WhatsApp? So now we know who it's for. I can see this up towards at the top, and I can tackle these questions one by one. This one, ¿por qué se advierte que nada es 100% seguro? Why is it that nothing is 100% correct? So 100% safe, I'm going to take a look up here where I see 100% safe and then see if I can grab on to, wait, let me see this. No, this is, sorry, I'm just coming down here. I'm going to poke around and see if I can find 100% safe. Here it is. Boom. 100% seguro. So the question is asking me in question number 19, why does it advertise that nothing, or say or warn that nothing is 100% secure? I found it in number 6. Now I'm going to do this isolated close reading to get the question right. Why'd they say 100% secure? Nothing is, right? Si bien se nos ha garantizado que WhatsApp es muy seguro, la realidad es que nada es 100% seguro, por lo que es altamente recomendable establecer qué tipo de información no se debe transmitir en el grupo. So they're warning us that like while WhatsApp says it's secure, we know it's actually not 100% secure. And that means right here at the bottom, you should always have that in the back of your mind when you do this. So let's look for wrong answers. And in fact, take a minute for number 19. Tell me in the answer choices, in the chat rather, what are the wrong answers to question 19 based on what we read very quickly with number 16? WhatsApp says it's 100% secure. It is not 100% secure. You want to make sure that you're answering this question. Why this? So take a moment. I want wrong answers only. Wrong answers only in the chat. Yeah, B is horrible. ¿Por qué las personas que usan servicios como WhatsApp tienen miedo? That doesn't even make sense, even if I didn't read number 6. So this is where that isolated reading helps you make sense. People who use services like WhatsApp are scaredy cats. That's not it. Sí, ¿por qué los grupos de chat no se aportan mucha información interesante? No, it's not about whether they're boring. It's about whether they're 100% seguro. ¿Por qué a veces los grupos de chat dejan de funcionar correctamente? This isn't about the functionality. So even just knowing basic cognates like funcionar means to function, right? That seguro means safe. That tienen miedo, that's not necessarily a cognate, but like being afraid. That's some baby Spanish right there. Number 19 is not hard. So I'm paying attention as a test taker to finding these questions, getting rid of wrong answers, and getting A is correct. So this is why some of you are asking, are we cooked? Are you cocinado? You are not, right? A lot of these questions are really straightforward. Take advantage of this. ¿Por qué recomiendan las instrucciones establecer un horario de uso? Why are they talking about an horario de uso, a schedule for use? Let's go back. Where's the horario? Oh, look, right in order. Surprise, surprise. Establecer un horario de uso. The question, translating it in my own head here, is why do they recommend setting up that schedule? Si bien uno de los grandes beneficios de los grupos de WhatsApp es poder tener comunicación permanente, es sano tener un horario definido. Lo más recomendable es que el horario de uso del grupo sea el mismo de que el horario de que el del horario de trabajo. Ejemplo, a las 8:30 hasta las 6:30. Okay. So, number 20, I want you to tell me, I'll give you all 30 seconds. What is the correct answer to question number 20? Correct answer to number 20. And you'll notice that I was reading kind of quickly and kind of moving you through. That's one of the skills you're going to be practicing tomorrow, paying attention while you have the audio playing. And I'm seeing it in the chat. The correct answer here is number 20. Couple of tips. The AP Spanish exam, unlike some exams this year and 9 exams next year, does not have a digital mode. All of you will be taking a paper test. You will all have their like audio thing with bad headphones. You're going to have to listen to things. You should be scribbling up your book like crazy. The more you think with your pencil, the more you think at the tip of the pencil as you're writing, the better off you're going to be. So that's something that very skilled test takers do. I've been teaching test takers for the last 22 years. I've been teaching Spanish basically for that whole time. And whether it was SAT Spanish when that existed, AP Spanish Lang or Spanish Lit, as I've taken these exams, as I've tutored students through them, whether it's history or English or this, you're moving your pencil and crossing things out. You're not focusing on getting every single question right or finding the text when you in every single instance. You're doing what you can to maximize this. Let's take one last multiple choice. Yeah. Sorry, if I did just say the answer to number 20 is 20, I meant B. The correct answer for number 20 is B. Okay. You're not blanking. I'm blanking. The correct, I'm falling apart here, people. It's Wednesday. Es miércoles de la segunda semana de AP exams. After this, we've got AP Biology with my friend AP Bio Penguins, and our last 2 reviews for AP Physics 1 and 2, and hopefully I can hold it all together till then. 18. ¿Qué significa la palabra difundir? Now, you may know this without even checking. So I want to just check you all. Para 18, the answer is not 18. What is the answer in the chat? Yeah, Mason says John's cooked too. Bien hecho. But like not in the well done, like good job, but more like mistake. Okay, anyway, take a minute. 18. Without any context, without going back and reading anything. And if you don't know, think about what you can eliminate. If you don't know difundir, what do you think it's not? And some of you don't know, and that's totally fine. You could say don't know. Okay. And some of you are just spamming the chat, so be careful. Don't fill up this chat with the same thing 50 times. But others of you keep pointing to D. So some of you know that the correct answer to number 18 is in fact the letter D. But we can go back real quick and see if we can find it in context for those of you who don't know what difundir. I just saw it, difundir. Okay, let's see if we can figure out difundir from context. This may be the only time it appears, but maybe it appears in other places. Number 5, establecer un acuerdo de privacidad. And then it says, lo que pasa en el grupo se queda en el grupo. What happens in the group stays in the group. Very sassy, College Board. Se queda en el para evitar que se difundan, so difundan, conversaciones del grupo en el que pudiera haber información confidencial y para mantener la confidencialidad de los mensajes Se deberá prohibir que los integrantes hagan screenshot y difundir lo conversado. Does that help us get at difundir? Establish un acuerdo, an agreement, a confidentiality and privacy agreement. Oh, and it says at the beginning of number 6 as well. Oh, no, wait. Okay, yes. So we come back here. ¿Qué significa la palabra difundir? Whatever it is, it's something about, capturing these conversations, something about that would involve breaching this conversation. So you have to almost use the context clues to figure this out. So maybe it's like spreading these ideas around, getting it out of the private conversation into other places. Certainly not limiting financial means, so A is out, or explaining something clearly, so C is out. So this is about spreading information. So this is the correct answer to number 18 is the letter D. So multiple choice. We are working around what we don't know. We are marking up the page. I haven't done that tonight because I got this digital copy, but you're going to do that with your pencils. You're going to make sure that you're bubbling as you go. And you're going to make sure that you are focusing on not getting every single question right, but getting as many right as you can. You will also make sure you're not getting lost in long, boring passages where you're not earning any points. You're going to go question by question and steer around that. I want to spend some time with the free response with the time that we've got left. I'll point out briefly that whenever you're listening to audio tracks, make sure you take the right kinds of notes based on the skills you have. Do not invent a new way of taking notes tonight on the day before the actual exam, right? You're going to have to just figure this out. Because if you're busy, like trying to change your strategy, is going to mess you up. Okay, so here we are with the free response question. We know how this is broken down. These instructions are the same every single time. So you know what the email task is going to require of you. You know how it's being graded. It's going to be graded on this rubric that makes sure that it's formal, that you're addressing the questions that you're being asked, and you ask your own questions. So, and it's great to see you, Raquel, everyone, Mason, other people who've been here. If you like this video, press that like button. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. We're going to be going live later tonight for AP Biology. Let me know if there's any biología people here. Mi gente biología. In the chat, and then Física tomorrow for Physics 1 and 2. When you get something like this, you'll see questions, normally 2, this sample has 3, and this is a key area for you on the email reply. You're not going to change how you write Spanish in the next few hours. You are going to make sure you get all the points. So when you look at scoring guidelines for this, it's going to say, did the person answer the questions that were asked of them? Did the person ask their own questions? Did the person use estimado señora so-and-so? And then write like atentamente back in their formal email response. So formal tone, sufficient answers to all of the questions, your own answers. That's it. Don't overthink this, guys. It's not that complicated. You only have 15 minutes. Also, pay attention to this. The tema curricular is one of the 6 themes of the AP Spanish language course. Remember that the Spanish... ¿Qué quieres tú, Marco? Excuse me, everyone. Excuse me. Before we start free response, we're going to have to interrupt this previously scheduled program because a certain little man has come by. I want sheep emojis in the chat. Those of you who've been around know what this is. There he is. Marco, ¿qué tal tú? Mañana yo voy a lograr en este examen de AP Spanish language. Venga. What are you doing? What do you want? He want to treat everyone. And I don't know if, again, some of you have seen him before in any of our live reviews. He's been quite the star of the show this week. I'll bring him back in the end for a little friendly, I don't know what he's doing. He wants something. We have an exam to prepare for. Marco, this is very unprofessional. And I've got Nina here too. It's the whole thing. So, yes, you guys got an early Marco. Okay, so the tema curricular is going to tell me what we're talking about. And this is desafíos mundiales. And then the introduction is going to set up the overall topic, the register of vocabulary I'm in. And that is, este mensaje electrónico es de la responsable de un programa de intercambio estudiantil. This is so typical College Board, right? This isn't a College Board exam, but this is typical vibe here. Has recibido este mensaje porque te han aceptado en el programa para el año que viene y debes proporcionar más detalles. So, this is this whole program, and there's some details that are being asked for. Again, here, 3 questions you're likely tomorrow to see 2. Excuse me, I am being attacked by canines. Los perros me... Okay, no. Okay, stop it. Okay, the first question. ¿Podrá unirse al programa durante el curso entero o solamente un semestre? En este caso, ¿cuál? And of course, this is a great example of like, who cares what you actually think? And what it is, write the sentences that will sufficiently show that you're checking the box of answering this question. The next one. ¿Prefiere alojarse en una residencia de estudiantes en el campus universitario o buscar alojamiento por su cuenta? And the third one, ¿ha visitado antes la ciudad y la universidad solicitada? So normally one sentence will be plenty to get the job done. Make sure you're doing what you can to get a grammatically correct sentence that articulates this. So, okay, so and yes, some of you remember, I lived in Spain for a year. Yo viví en España un año como becario de Fulbright, representando el gobierno de los Estados Unidos, el Departamento de Estado, en el Consejo Superior de Investigaciones Científicas, investigando la historia medieval de España en los siglos XIII a XIV. Me encanta la historia de España, la arqueología, las fuentes jurídicas y literarias. Me encanta, pues, México y Perú y Cuba y Puerto Rico y todo el mundo hispanohablante that we need to talk about this. So, okay, so this email is a good example, everyone, of how when I'm on the test and when you're on the test, you're not going to get lost in 1,000 words of translation. You're not going to get lost in the weeds of the email. Your task is to produce an email that answers these questions thoughtfully and to ask your own questions. Make sure there are things that are not things that already appear in the email, but you don't want to overread and over prepare. So let's take a look at the next task, the argumentative essay. This is a behemoth. This is much longer, much more complicated, right? And remember, you're going to have this, you're submitting it to a writing contest. It's supposed to be formal, and you're supposed to define your topics. So we have 55 minutes. The tema curricular is all about culture and identity. You're going to have 6 minutes to read the essay, source 1 and source 2. ¿Estás en contra o a favor del Spanglish? So are you for or against Spanish? Pretty straightforward. And in here, we have in the introduction, I like these. This is a place I spend some time. I spend some time, like I told you, in the first and last paragraphs. This is a pretty short passage. It only goes to these 30 lines, but I'm going to be able to figure out pretty quickly what's going on with this passage and what it's saying about Spanglish. In fact, let's just take a look at these first 2 paragraphs. I got this about Spanglish, then I have this little thing, and this is fun, right? Anita y Mark. Hola, good morning, ¿cómo estás? Good, ¿y tú? Todo bien, pero tuve problemas parqueando mi carro this morning. Sí, I know. Siempre hay problemas parqueando en la área at this time, right? So this, if any of you speak Miami Spanish or variations of Texas Spanish, or you're just a bad AP Spanish student, you're doing this not organically as part of a bilingual culture, this is Spanglish. So that's an easy source to pick up. Sometimes those graphics are. Let's just take a look at these first 2 paragraphs. En una muestra más de la sostenida penetración de los habitantes de habla hispana en territorio estadounidense, un estudio confirma que alrededor de 40 millones de personas hablan ya en Estados Unidos la mezcla de inglés y español conocida como Spanglish, que, en opinión del profesor de Amherst College de Massachusetts, Ilan Stavans, es una nueva manifestación verbal que merece un reconocimiento. If you don't know what merece or reconocimiento is, do not worry about that, because the other stuff you do know. You know what estadounidense is. You know what mezcla de inglés y español is. You know what Spanglish is. We know this is just setting it up and then quoting this professor. So this is really important that you're able to, again, maneuver around words that you don't know. In the course and exam description for AP Spanish, I've done this video on our channel before. Check out, by the way, on the main part of the Marco Learning channel, subscribe to our channel and check out our AP Spanish playlist. I do a ton of videos on cultural comparison, on the oral presentation, and I break down the course and exam description live, and you'll see the course themes, and you'll see how in the examples of the course and exam description, there's something like exigente paladar porteño. And if you're like, wait, what's an exigente paladar porteño? We didn't learn that in my class. It's one of those phrases that's embedded in these passages that you can steer around and still get right. Great. I'm seeing some great advice coming in from the chat. Really good group here tonight. I'm thankful that you're all here learning this with us. And again, you're not learning Spanish tonight, and we're not practicing all the things. What we're doing is thinking about how we move through the passages, how we steer around words we don't know, how we grab onto questions and read for those questions rather than reading in general. You must have control tomorrow, control of your pencil and the multiple choice, your pen on the free response, because those are written in pen. You need to have control of what you're reading and how your brain is working. You will not panic tomorrow. You will not have miedo. You will not worry about anything, because the work you have done either over your whole life of speaking Spanish, over many years of speaking Spanish, or over the last couple years of speaking Spanish will empower you to do well. So you're going to go in there and do incredibly well. And then there's an audio track. Couple tips I want to hear in the chat from you all. When you're facing an audio track, and I think I've got one here to play, that I want to actually play out loud. What are the things that you do to help yourselves manage this? I think I've got audio 6 here. Yeah, I have audio 6 right here. We're going to play this in a second. So I want you all, can you all go grab a pencil and pen real quick? Some of you on your phone, some of you are on a device. Grab a pencil. What did I say? Pencil and pen. Pencil or pen and paper. Real quick. I'm going to give everyone 30 seconds. And because we're going to just take a minute and talk about note taking. You have already been practicing this skill, but practicing it tonight awkwardly on YouTube is a good idea. And yes, seeing you take notes during the audio. Yeah, so Chandler is saying, I take notes both times, but I try to listen more the second time. Great advice. Sometimes I will listen the first time and take notes the second. I like Chandler's approach, though, because you sort of grab onto random words and you're kind of not paying attention. And an artist Esper needs a pen. Wait, espera. But that ability to grab the words and transcribe is one way of sort of not necessarily listening, but you're grabbing words and bullets. The second time you're listening and concentrating. So you might do the reverse. You may keep your notes pretty spare, just a couple like bullets. Some of you might try to grab as many words as possible. Trust what has worked for you in the past rather than anything else. Okay. And great. Some of you all were here for AP World History and you're back for AP Spanish. No, I have being attacked by a dog, but okay. So this one says, este audio explica la política de naturalización de Canadá frente a la de Estados Unidos. So I'm going to play
Esto
this.
hay que faxeárselo a la oficina de cámara porque nos hace falta que nos den el authorization number. Okay. Porque lo mandaron para atrás la insurance porque no tenían la autorización. And this one, I need you to call Medicare para ver si tienen deducible cubierto.
So by the way, that just started 15 seconds in. I'm going to play. I didn't give you enough warning, so I'm going to restart it. I want you to think about how this track will last for 1 minute and 21 seconds. I want you to think about how you're going to capture the notes you're going to capture. Our theme is Spanglish and Canada. Okay. And I'm hoping you guys can hear me. Or hear the audio.
Esto hay que faxeárselo a la oficina de cámara porque nos hace falta que nos den el authorization number. Okay. Porque lo mandaron para atrás la insurance porque no tenían la autorización. And this one, I need you to call Medicare para ver si tienen deducible cubierto. And This one, we need to call the office too, para coger la información de seguro. Este se lo da a mami para que lo faxee también, para entonces pedir el número de Medicare, so that we can transmit the claim. And this other one,
La conversación transcurre en una oficina de Miami, Florida. El jefe de la empresa, Raimel García, y su empleada, Melissa Acosta, son bilingües. Hablan perfecto español e inglés, pero prefieren comunicarse mezclando ambos idiomas. Esta práctica tiene influencias en ambas direcciones idiomáticas y está dando lugar a una fusión cultural innegable, la hispanización de Estados Unidos y la fuerte anglosajonización de los hispanos. Esta mezcla de los idiomas español e inglés ha originado un complejo fenómeno, una lengua híbrida llamada Spanglish.
Okay, este ya lo faxié. This one, I already looked up the date of birth. This one I have to leave over there. Este ya lo busqué, Medicare number no estaba bien y I refiled. Y este, refiled. Y este ya la fecha, I have it, de nacimiento.
Okay, so that was intense to listen to, right? Like these what was that, about 81 seconds. And normally you're going to get these two passes through. So the first time you're capturing it, and then the second time you're going to absorb this. For our purposes, we're going to kind of fly through this. But I wanted to just break that ice with you so that tomorrow when you pick up your pluma, bolígrafo, lápiz, whatever, you are writing with confidence and intentionality. Don't feel like you need to get the right kind of notes. That is the worst idea ever. You're not going to be scored on your notes. You're going to be scored on what you can write and what you can say. So remember, our prompt was this. ¿Estás en contra o a favor del Spanglish? Are you for or against Spanglish? So you need to make sure, and that's the question I see here from Maureen is, again, this ¿estás en contra o a favor? And let me just real quick pull that up. That you're capturing this this prompt as the key part of your response. Now, what I want to do real quick, everyone, is take you to a sample response of what this is. And of course, this is typed and this is very like official and scoring guidelines-y. But I want to show you in 55 minutes what this student accomplished. So it says, según el artículo, so citing the first source, unos 40 millones de personas en los Estados Unidos hablan Spanglish. So grabbing a paraphrase of a particular point out of that first article. Esta es sin duda una cifra difícil de ignorar. Estoy de acuerdo con que es la fuerza y fenómeno verbal más importante de los últimos años. Grabbing that quote. So again, you want to minimize the total number of quotations, but it's fine here. Sin embargo, no estoy a favor del Spanglish como un nuevo idioma que tengamos que promover. However, I ain't in favor of this. And so that bluntness is a nice, clear, direct answer to the question. And that's what you're looking for. Okay, and then we go through these different paragraphs. Now, some of you have asked, do I need a conclusion? Do I need a counter argument? Do I need these things? If you can pull it off, do it. If you can get that conclusion in, if you can write, what is this, 5 full paragraphs with these nice transitions like sin embargo and have sophisticated vocabulary, do it. But don't hold yourself to this standard of, if I don't have a conclusion, I don't have a good essay. That ain't true, right? You can still score very highly. Remember that AP Spanish is scored on a more holistic scale than something like AP English language and or AP English literature or the world history and US history exams that people were taking. So it's really, really important that you set the bar realistic for yourself. Okay, now last thing I want to do, I'm going to take us back to this test. And hold on, it is frozen. Give me 1 second. And okay. Thank you for being patient, everyone. My reader is frozen. Okay, I want to get to the conversation and the cultural comparison. This is really important because here's what you're not going to do. You're not going to freak out tomorrow if one of your little recordings goes bad. So this, we've got our theme, las familias y las comunidades. We have the introduction. Esta es una conversación con tu amigo. Vas a participar en esta conversación porque estás hablando de una celebración familiar. Very typical. There's an audio track. And then we get this breakdown of the speaker and you. So as you go through each of your responses in this setup, you're going to make sure that you're thinking of the whole audio recording. So if you're short, it's 20 seconds for you to speak. If you're short on yours by 5 seconds, let that roll off your back. If you have a big, awkward, lo siento for 20 seconds, let that roll. You can still score very well, even with a glitchy spot, a gap, or missing seconds. Obviously, you want to slow yourself down and make sure you're capturing each of those what's the word I'm looking for? Each of the things that you can say. And so Delilah, I wish we got like 3 chances for the conversation and then got to pick the best one, because sometimes I do okay in practice and oftentimes I'm just like, eh. So for tomorrow, for Delilah, you want to make sure that you let yourself do that once or twice. I'd rather you be imperfect and do the best that you can, then set this high bar and feel like, oh, this isn't my best take. You can still save it. You have this resting thing. So as the next track reads, take a sigh, take a breath, and get ready for your next 20 seconds. Finally, for the cultural comparison, let me know in the chat which countries you've already picked. Para mí, España, México, Puerto Rico. Me encantan las tres. Those are some places I will go because I know some stuff about them. I've been to them in the last year. I do not know a lot about Argentina. I do not know anything really about Venezuela. So I'm going to stay away from those places I haven't been prepping, even though very many aspects are similar. So I have Costa Rica, Mexico, Chile, España, Peru, y Mexico. Stick with your countries. Peru. So interesting, so much to say, such a special culture and special cuisine and lots to talk about. And then here we have our theme, our tema, which is, ¿cuáles crees que son las cosas que mejoran la calidad de nuestras vidas? ¿Qué problemas de la actualidad empeoran la calidad de vida? Compara tu experiencia personal en tu comunidad con otra comunidad que conozcas del mundo hispanohablante. And so that is the setup. I want to remind you for this, you definitely want to check out on the Marco Learning YouTube channel. I'm going to show you where this is. I'm going to stop screen sharing. The actual skills that break this down are all part of our playlist that's right here. Almost all these sessions drill into the cultural comparison and the spoken piece, because back in 2020, this was the only part of the exam that they kept, was the cultural comparison and oral presentation piece. So again, the purpose here is not perfection. It is the best that you can do. Everyone in the chat, I want you all to tell me that you are not, well, what should we do? We have, I've done, I'm not cooked. I want you to do tomorrow, I will not be perfect. It's such an important thing. All capital letters in the chat. I want to see it fill up. Tomorrow, I will not be perfect. Because that's the only thing I can tell you. We're not going to do 50 Spanish vocabulary words. We're not going to go over all the advanced rubrics. This is about moving with confidence. When you see reading, you're going to steer around the reading so it doesn't distract you. When you see questions, you're going to go back to the passage and get the part that you need. When you see questions where you don't know, ¿a qué aspira Carlos Soria? I don't know, but if I can get rid of 2 choices, you're going to be in a really good place because you've reduced it to a 50-50 chance. Now, I want to see in the chat, I'm seeing tomorrow I will not be perfect. And that's it, man. You don't want to be perfect. You will not be cooked. It's excellent. For the last act of our session, because I got to go live with my friend from AP BioPenguins, I want to see the sheep emojis and the cloud emojis and the other fluffy white emojis from Marco, our fundador, to give you all a little, he came over to say hi earlier, but I'm going to close with that and then invite you all to attend our biology session and our physics sessions, and invite you all, stay in touch with us on Instagram and on TikTok on Marco Learning. I'm going to be roasting exams, especially Spanish once it's available for me, which will probably be around this weekend. So good luck on all this. I've got my sheep emojis. Let's get the sheep up here. Marco, come here. Marco, come here. And you know what, guys? You might get two if Nina comes in the shot here. So one more time from Marco. He wants you all to do so well on the test. He wants you to not be cooked. There's Nina. She's bumping Marco out of the way. So aquí tenemos la Nina, la Pinta, y la Santa Maria. So here's Nina. There's Marco in the background. And they're waiting to say hello and good luck on the test tomorrow. So really, and I see some people reminding me that from last year's quote that we're going to slay. There's Nina, Marco. Guys, seriously, good luck on the exam. Stay in touch with us at Marco.